channel. I'm Jen, KetosisMom, and today I'm going to be going over my 1-year results on Zepbound. Now, I know this is probably going to be one of my most watched videos, much like my first week or my first whole month is on Zepbound, because most people just want to know, what is it going to be like starting this up? What are the side effects going to be? What's going to happen to me? And then now, long term, how did it actually go? So I'm going to be going over all of my results from what my labs became, what my body weight became, both muscle and fat, any type of major side effects I've had. And I'm also going to go over what's been going on with me the last couple of weeks as to why I have not been making videos. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in because I feel like this is what everybody really wants to know. And we're going to go over how much weight I lost first. So from last of 2024, February, Valentine's Day, 14th of 2024 until February 14th, 2025, I lost 61.2 pounds. Cue all of the celebration, right? What's so funny about that is that some of my doctors are really pleased with it, and they feel like it was at a decent pace. As most of you know, if you've been following me, some months I have lost, some months I haven't lost. It's been all over the place because of other things that I have going on, right? I have autoimmune, I'm on Cosentyx, now I'm coming off Cosentyx, I have GI issues. There's a laundry list of things that have been managed along with this. And I do want to preface, all of those things I had prior to starting this drug. And honestly, the reason I had to start this drug was because of a lot of these other things. So I don't want to kind of misconstrue anyone and make you think like, oh my gosh, she got GI issues and she got autoimmune issues from this. No, I had all of that pre-existing, and it's actually why I was placed on Zepbound, okay? Let's clear that up because I know a lot of people are going to watch this video and they've not watched any of the others. Okay. Overall, I'm going to show you guys this chart again because it's probably one of my favorites. I've gone over this clinical trial kind of results for Zepbound in multiple videos, and it just basically shows you where each one of the clinical trial patients were tracking on a line graph by week by how much weight they had lost, also on which one of the dosages they were on. I am currently still on the 12.5, although I have been off of it for a little over 2 weeks because I had an MRI, I had some GI procedures, and in order to kind of be put under for procedures, you're supposed to come off of the medicine. Now, I also want to tell anybody else who's going to have an MRI for any type of rheumatoid or inflammation type issue. My recommendation is to come off of the Zepbound for at least 2 weeks because you want any type of inflammation that the Zepbound was helping to come back and show so that the doctors don't keep you on a medicine that's actually not working for you. So I am very pleased with my MRI that came out because it did show that the Cosentyx is no longer working for me. So why would I stay on a drug that makes me gain 4 to 10 pounds every time I take it when it's not working, right? So I'm trying to get through to CVS Caremark at this time, who is denying the new drug and wants me to go backwards into some TNF inhibitors that I've already trialed before and had horrible results with and moved on from them long ago, right? So I'm going to let the kind of doctor with his PA and Caremark kind of look through that until Friday, and then I have to call them back and figure out, okay, what is going on. Someone on here actually recommended to me to take Taltz, which is for axial spondyloarthritis and ankylosing spondylitis, which is what I have. Per the MRI, I also have something called enthesitis as well as sacroiliitis. So these itises, when you see the word itis, it means inflammation. Learned that through my medical terminology classes. So all this inflammation that was previously not showing on MRIs because I was on my Zepbound is now showing because I came off the Zepbound for 2.5 weeks, which tells me that the Zepbound is helping my inflammation, even though the FDA has not regulated it to treat inflammation at this time. So I am so happy to be back on my Zepbound after coming off for 2.5 weeks, because all of my joints were pounding. I felt like I had an inflammation fire from my tailbone all the way up to like the strap line of where your bra goes on my back. All of my fingers were pounding, my knees were pounding, my ankles were pounding. Every joint in my body felt like it was inflamed while I was off of the Zepbound. Please don't let it go anywhere, because if for nothing else, I want my Zepbound for inflammation. So Tirzepatide, inflammation, 2 thumbs up from me over the past year, especially. My husband has even noticed that hey, you're going up and down stairs and you're not having to like pause and go, ooh, this hurts. You're running up and down stairs now. And that was something I think I was not really noticing. And when he brought it up, I'm like, oh, wow, yeah. I've not been on this for 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden going down these stairs is like really hurting my hips. This is not good. So for me on this chart that I showed you guys, if you look at the 10 and 15 milligram at 72 weeks, I am currently trending the exact same loss with my 61.2 pounds between a 21 and 22% total weight loss, as the same as the 10 and 15 milligram at 72 weeks. Now, I just now recently was put on the 12.5 milligram. I think have I had a whole month of 12.5, or have I only had 3 weeks of 12.5? I believe I've had a whole month of 12.5, and this is my second box of 12.5. But point is, I was on the lower doses, and I achieved what most people in the clinical trial were not achieving until 72 weeks at my 52 weeks, and I did it on lower doses. Okay, so every time I feel like I'm not really getting anywhere and it's not where I want it to be, I have to kind of step back and remind myself of this. Like, no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I might not be trending with how this trends exactly, but I'm actually doing better, right? I am, just a reminder, and for all the new people here, I am not someone who wants to drop weight as fast as possible. There's multiple reasons for that. One being that most doctors are going to tell you it's not great to lose that fast. It takes your body and your organs and your body time to try to like get used to this. Also, your skin. I am a huge skin care person, so I want to be using all the stuff and things all over my body to try to help my skin tighten back up. I also know that building muscle takes time, okay? Building muscle takes time. It also takes a lot of effort and energy. I don't want to lose muscle as well as fat. I want to gain muscle and lose fat. So the slower I can do this throughout my process and at a more steady state, then the better that balance is going to be. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Speaking of body fat, over the past year, I lost 14.4% of my body fat. That is both in subcutaneous fat as well as visceral fat, which, as we all know, visceral fat is one of the hardest to lose. It wants to stay in there. There's a difference. We've discussed this before in subcutaneous versus visceral fat. You actually want to have a little bit of subcutaneous fat as you age and as you get older, because it's really just helping to kind of comfort those bones so that when and if you have a fall, you're not going to snap like a little toothpick. The other thing that I do want to point out is my muscle. So when you look at, there is your overall muscle mass, and then there's a skeletal muscle feature on my handy dandy Renfo, which is the scale that I use, and I always link it down below as well. You guys can find it over in my Amazon storefront at amazon.com/shop/KetosisMom at any time. And I do have an entire idea list that is labeled YouTube products. So if you go there, you will find my exact scale that I use, and I went up in muscle by 9.4 pounds. That's 9.4 pounds of muscle and I went down by 14.4% in my overall body fat. That means I dropped my BMI from February 14th to February 14th by 9.7 points. Okay. Now, I am still, to this day, in the range that still qualifies me for Zepbound. Okay. So I'm not quite there. I'm almost there, but I'm not quite there to then insurance be saying like, oh, hey, you don't meet these requirements anymore. I know we've discussed a lot in the news segment. When is insurance going to start cutting people off that are on it? That really these drugs are meant to be on long term and basically for life. For me, I will tell everybody the 2.5 weeks that I came off of the medicine, I started having like the stomach pain as if you're really starving, like hungry, like what is going on? Why does my stomach feel like this? After I had been off the medicine for about a week, okay? My weight, this is important, my weight, because I took my Cosentyx injection, I came off of Zepbound for 2.5 weeks. My weight started going up 1 to 1.5 pounds a day. And this is when I was strictly watching what I was eating, making myself have protein shakes, salads with grilled chicken, grilled vegetables, a baked potato with nothing on it, split it in half, have some pork with it. This is when I was really strictly monitoring and watching what I'm eating. Off of the Zepbound, still on my Cosentyx, 1 to 1.5 pounds per day is what I gained. Now, I had both an MRI for rheumatology, which they are now taking me off the Cosentyx. And quite honestly, I'm just going to say thank God, because I'm tired of gaining so much weight with this. I'm not saying that the next drug is going to be any better. I'm knocking on wood, hoping that it is. I'm also not sure that it's even going to work, but we're going to keep trialing stuff until we figure it out, right? That's for rheumatoid. I also had a colonoscopy a few days ago. I had to do 2 days, count them, 1, 2 of bowel prep. I had 1 day with Plenview. Then the second day I had to take magnesium citrate plus a second Plenview just to be able to get fully cleaned out because of my IBS-C that I have. I have severe constipation. I have had severe constipation since my second C-section that I had with my daughter. So far, they did have a few things that they found that they removed and they sent out for pathology, but everything else looked fine and dandy and clear. So the gastroenterologist's recommendation was for me to put good, healthy stuff back in. I also lost 10 pounds. Yeah, 10 pounds on those 2 days worth of bowel prep, which means I then am still up 4 pounds from being off of the Zepbound for 2.5 weeks. So I kind of had, again, this like really big, huge teeter-tottering moment back and forth. I am now back on the Zepbound and I'm back on track, and I'm going to continue to keep moving and working, because the last thing I want is for my weight to continue to keep creeping up, and then I'm switching up what's going on and I'm gaining. Then I'm taking a new medicine and I'm gaining with that medicine. And then we have to figure out what is going on in a whole new array of fun, right? So I am working this week really, really hard to be on my Zepbound, get the rest of the weight off that I gained while I was off the Zepbound. What I know this is going to kind of like scare people a little bit is, oh my gosh, as soon as I come off the Zepbound, I'm going to start gaining weight. And I did. That's my experience with it. I did. But I gained at an alarming rate of 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a day. Not like some days, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I just didn't eat. I literally just sat there starving and refused to eat because I didn't want to gain any weight, and I still gained the weight. So then I just said, okay, fine. I'm going to space out my meals. I'm going to use my Lumen, and I'm going to eat appropriately how I should be eating. A lot of people are going to say, what the heck is a Lumen and what is she talking about? This is my Lumen. This is a device that is a metabolism hacker. You can breathe into this when you wake up, breathe into it multiple times a day, breathe into it before and after exercise, and it's going to tell you if you're burning carbs, if you're burning fat, if you're burning both, if you're on track, and then also give you kind of macros for your day. I use this a lot, and I mean a lot, before I was put on Zepbound to try to figure out what are the correct macros and what is the kind of carb cycling that I should be doing. Most of you, if you follow me for a long time, I was keto for over 7 years. I started gaining the weight even doing keto on my arthritis medicines and infusions. It was not helping. Keto was not working. Keto was making everything worse, actually. So they recommended that I start cycling in carbs. That was super, super scary to me, coming from a keto state where like carbs are your absolute enemy, to trying to learn when can I eat carbs, what kind of carbs can I eat, and how is it going to affect my body. The Lumen 1000% helped me do that, and I am back to using it again this full week. I've been taking my morning breath to see if I'm in carb burn or fat burn. That then determines the rest of the day of eating, how I'm going to be eating, and then I'm logging my food against it and also taking additional breaths. Now, I will put up a code for everybody down below. I am a Lumen partner as well. I'm very, very clear with everybody on that when I mention things, whether or not I've worked with them in the past or I'm currently working with them. I only take on brands that I use their products, okay? I have had lots of people messaging me wanting my opinion on some of these like TikTokers and other YouTubers that are really, really pushing the compounded drugs, even though there's all these like 483 out, warning letters out, FDA notices out to all these different compounders. I'm just going to be very straight up and honest with you guys. Those people do not care, okay? They do not care if you're getting a good drug, a bad drug, regulated, unregulated, where it's coming from, if it was hot, if it was cold, if the whole facility is dirty, because they are getting paid. They are getting paid because you bought. They are getting their drugs covered for them because you bought. Okay, that is my opinion on the compounding world and the compounds that are being pushed out to everyone. I myself put up in my caption every single time. You guys can go to the place that I did look into, that I did look up their 483s, that I did look up if they're GMP or not, that I did look up what their ingredients are. Are they adding additives? Are they not? Do they have issues with shipping? Do they not? I did a whole blog post on it. I have a whole other video that I will try to tag up in the top that you guys can go look at if you wish. Even that, if you guys use that, now they are giving me a kickback for that. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't take compounds. I don't really think anyone should be on a compound because they are unregulated drugs. And I know everyone says, well, you don't understand, we can't afford it, all this other kind of stuff. That's called being a human. A human is all about, well, what about me? What does it mean to me? Okay, and that's fine, and I get it. I do. My Zepbound at this point in time is covered. The most I ever pay is $25. It makes 0 sense for me to go and pay more for an unregulated compounded drug versus the brand named, like, patent owned pen, right? It doesn't make sense to me to do that. I do understand that some people need the compounds because that's all that they can afford. That is why, for that reason, I did the research on Emerge that I linked down in the caption below, and I'll put up a QR code over here for you all. They do use what I would consider to be the largest facilities in the United States, and I will tell you that one of those facilities has already reached out to someone related to me to try to get them to come in because they have pharmaceutical and FDA knowledge. Okay, they are really trying, really pushing to be able to meet these FDA guidelines to be able to continue on. It's basically a giant legal battle at this point of who should have the rights to make this, Should these drugs be released unregulated, or is the United States going to continue to regulate them heavily, strictly, and give it back to the patent owner? It's still this giant scale of we don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that, for instance, the facility that Empower that is out in Houston, they are looking to gear up and steal pharmaceutical workers that do have FDA knowledge that can come in and say, nope, can't do it like this. This is how you have to do it now because this is how it's done in a manufacturing facility. I look for generics to be a big movement coming forward. I almost look for compounds to go away and generics to come about from actual GMP FDA regulated manufacturers, that it's going to be cheaper. I also know that that the Eli Lilly CEO David Rex has said, we recognize that we are charging too much. We also recognize that we need to offer additional vial sizes. They're still in the works in that. I have not seen, but I will go look over on their cash pay to see if that has come into effect yet or not. I do know that Zepbound has now been approved not only for a BMI of over 30 for weight and weight management, but it has now also been approved for OSA, or obstructive sleep apnea. That means if you are on Medicare and you want Zepbound covered for you, you need to get a diagnosis or diagnostic code of having obstructive sleep apnea in order to get it approved through Medicare. That means you might have to go through a sleep study. You might have to show that you're overweight and you have some type of weight pushing down on your airway path for that obstructive sleep apnea diagnosis. And then you will have to have your doctor submit a PA with OSA as the reason why you need Zepbound to get it covered. Okay, that's at this point in time as of today. I hope that more things come open as to like, hey, we're going to treat it. We're going to treat this with this. We're going to treat this with this. Hopefully even rheumatoid, because my rheumatologist now has an intake form in their office asking, would you like to go speak to a dietitian before you see them for that day? Because they are trying to figure out how to get everyone that comes in their office on Zepbound plus whatever they're taking for their arthritis, because they know that it actually helps with inflammation, but they're trying to get it approved for weight through a dietitian just to get them on it and approved and covered. I'm also going to touch on my labs today very quickly, because I did a whole video on my labs and how Zepbound has been helping my labs. Over the past year, I have come off of my thyroid medicine. I was previously diagnosed with hypothyroidism. I am not taking any hypothyroidism drug at this time, and my TSH kind of ping-pongs around between a 2 and a 3.8, which is still in an acceptable range. My T3 and T4 are also both smack in the middle of their good ranges, and so the endocrinologist just said, I'm going to leave you alone, because on Zepbound, my thyroid, for some unbeknownst reason, has decided it's going to work again. The three big things that the majority of people who are on Zepbound are trying to address, basically, are glucose, triglycerides, cholesterol, and then sometimes also A1C. A1C often falls over on the diabetic side, which would be the Mounjaro side, but I would suggest for your endocrinologist or your doctor or your primary care or whoever is prescribing the Zepbound or trying to get the Zepbound to be prescribed for you, also have them check your A1C. This showed my doctor that I was moving into a pre-diabetic state at a 5.7 before I started this process. My cholesterol went from being a 216 all the way down to a 147. My triglycerides went from a 157 down to a 103. Very good. And my glucose, fasting glucose at the time, because I was told my Cosentyx can actually raise my glucose and my A1C as well. My glucose went from a 104 down to an 87, which was where I was at pre all of these kind of rheumatoid treatments. So my A1C also went down by 2 points as well. Everything with blood work is green and great and good. Yay. My biggest kind of concern at this time, after being at a year on Zepbound, is my weight's kind of stalling a little bit. We're not really sure if it's going to continue on, like what I need to do to really push this into gear. I've been drinking a whole lot more water. My husband and I have committed to working out more. Even though I did gain that 9.4 pounds in muscle, I do want to be very clear because everyone argues with me on every single muscle video that I've done. Before I was on Zepbound and my Cosentyx kind of kicked in and started working, and the Zepbound was helping with inflammation, I have axial spondyloarthritis with ankylosing spondylitis, with now also enthesitis and sacroiliitis. Okay, there's a lot of words there. I was unable to work out for almost 2 years. I had gained almost 100 pounds on my Cosentyx before it took 5 specialists to realize we think it's the Cosentyx. I was logging my food for them. I was showing them what I was capable of doing. I was hurting and forcing myself just to get out and walk, even though I had inflammation and it was killing me and it was hurting. When you go from that type of state to all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to go work out now. I'm going to start trying to lift weights. I'm going to walk more. I'm going to get on my bike. I'm going to lift things around the house. You can build muscle a lot faster than someone who's currently 140 pounds that's been in the gym, that's been working out for a year, and they're trying to build a pound. Those are not comparing apples to apples. That's an apple and a pineapple that you're comparing here. I've had people arguing with me on YouTube that there's no possible way that I had gained that amount of muscle. They obviously have never watched The Biggest Loser, is all I'm going to say about that. When you are in that heavy of a state and you're almost like in a sedentary state, and then you start moving, your muscles are going to start building. So 9.4 pounds up in muscle with 14.4% down in my overall body fat, with a total loss of 61.2 pounds for the entire year. I'm going to take it because most people who are on these drugs are what I was so afraid of when I started this, and you guys can go back to some of my first videos and see, I was deathly afraid of losing muscle at the same rate I was losing fat. That is something that I've spent the last year trying to ensure that I was not doing. That's through using my Lumen, eating appropriately, using the Weight Watchers, because I go through Weight Watchers Clinic, doing their clinic exercises, logging my food, talking to the dietitian about do they agree with what Lumen is telling me to do for carb cycling, which they actually do. So when I spoke to them anyway, I have had SIBO flare-ups because I also have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth disorder. I also use a FODMAP. No, I am in no way, shape, or form affiliated with a FODMAP or the people who make this FODMAP SIBO monitor. It's called a food marble. I can determine if I'm having a SIBO flare-up by using this, try to figure out what food I was having that was causing it to eliminate that food. I try to follow a low FODMAP diet as much as I can. And if you guys go look at a low FODMAP diet, you can see there's not a whole lot on there that I'm able to eat. And a lot of it is whole foods. My husband went to the doctor. He's going to hate that I tell you guys this story. He went to the doctor back in, I believe, October, November. His cholesterol was so high that it was unchartable. It was so far over in the red that it just was a number, like it was an outlier. He was a runner in college, a sprinter, all, literally on college scholarship for that. He has never had issues, and he eats whatever he wants in front of me and always has. He is suddenly all of a sudden changed because guess what? He's over 40 now. He thought all he did was change and eat oatmeal in the morning to correct this, when in reality, Jennifer here stopped buying all the junk and stuff and things that he was eating, like donuts and muffins and breads in the morning. Then he would take 2 donuts to work with him on top of whatever fatty thing he was eating. Plus he was having cheeseburgers. Plus he was having a whole lot of red meat. I have changed out the majority of our house. We very rarely have red meat. If he has red meat, it's typically he orders it out at a restaurant somewhere. We have a lot of seafood, and I mean like a lot of seafood. I'm talking like mussels, lobster, shrimp, like fish. We have a lot of seafood at my house. We also eat chicken and pork. the majority of the time. A lot of times we will have a full vegetable meal. If we're having pasta, it is a chickpea high protein pasta. His oatmeal that he was having was steel cut oats that also has protein in it. That's like 100 calories. So he did not notice over a 3-month period that he was not getting all of his goodies and sweets and things because I did not tell him that he was not getting any of those things. He dropped his cholesterol over 40 points. You can make changes with the food that you're eating. You really can. But for some people, especially like me, that I'm on other medications, I have other things going on. I have medications that are making me gain weight. I'm constantly thinking about food and what I'm going to go eat. Sometimes it does not work for you and you need something like this. There's something that's off. There's something that's not working appropriately. There's something that's not happening correctly within your body. For me, I have to have Zepbound to lose weight. Otherwise, it's like a pound a day starts coming, which is crazy. The other thing I want to tell everybody that I am going back to making sure that I'm using, especially after my colonoscopy and clearing everything out, is my Viome. If you guys remember, I did my whole Viome test. It told me what bacteria I'm missing, what bacteria would be useful to me. They also have fiber in here that is okay for people who have SIBO because it is a sun fiber. So basically what they do is they gave me an entire list of everything that my gut could use or needs or would be beneficial for me. And instead of me having to go and try to buy all of those things, which would cost me an absolute fortune, they sent them to me right here in my own personalized little packet. All I have to do is open this up, make sure that I take it each day, and that I'm also taking one of the sun fiber packets. Everything that I need comes right here from Viome, and it is all based off of my gut test that I sent them. They did the testing on me. These are individualized. Everyone's is going to be different. This helped me tremendously when I was having the true, very strong constipation issues. Another thing that I will show everybody, and I'm not going to do a full, like, here's everything that I take moment. I will, if you guys want to see a video on that. But I do make sure that when you're on these, that you're on some type of magnesium supplement. A lot of people love the Mag 7. I also take the Magnesium Breakthrough. This is 7 different types of magnesium. I'm also taking a pre, pro, and postbiotic medicine. This one specifically is called Symbiotic Plus. It is from Ritual. It also has like a pepperminty type taste. I know that's odd, but it does. I love them. They've been amazing. For IBS-C, also take Colace. I don't care where you get your Colace or stool softener from. As you can see, mine is coming to you from Costco because it's a giant bottle and I have to take 3 of these a day. Those for me on Zepbound, plus also having IBS-C is the only thing that has truly helped keep everything moving. Other people might have some other things to add down in the comments below of what they take or what they've used that helps them moving as well. As for the muscle mass and building muscle side, I've been taking these 2 supplements. One is an NAD+. The other one is the Urolithin A. I'm not going to lie to you guys. These are expensive. They are. Both of these are expensive, but I've seen such amazing results with both of these that I feel like there's no way I'm going to stop taking them. I saw a definite muscle increase and endurance increase on these since I've been taking them, and I've had so much more energy and feeling so much better that there's no way anybody's going to take them away from me at this point. I will pay them whatever they want me to pay them. And quite honestly, I wish we could use our medical on things like this because they are amazing. I am not going to do a GLP-1 in the news this week because this week is all about what my full year worth of results were. I feel better. I've lost the correct kind of weight. I'm eating how I should be eating. I'm getting on the right drugs with my MRI and my rheumatologist now. I'm getting off drugs that are making me gain weight, basically. I can't find, in my opinion, a negative to this medicine for me. Okay? There's no negative to this medicine for me. The things I was showing you for my GI system, which is the correct kind of bacterium, the pre, the pro, the postbiotic, things that keeps a stool softener, that keeps it moving. I have had to take things like that since having children anyway. And in the United States, postpartum care and correcting things that happen from giving birth is basically like non-existent. Nothing is going to be done to try to, if something was somehow messed up during my C-section, nothing's going to get done to fix that. It's just well, you're just not going to be able to go to the bathroom as well now. You're just going to have to take stuff for it, and you're going to have to pay for that out of your own pocket. It's absolute insanity. That's just my opinion on it. But I would have all of that going on anyway. So I don't want you to think that because I'm on Zepbound, I suddenly have to take these things for IBS-C or for constipation. It's just what I use. I have an entire video on constipation issues, that I have dealt with constipation for so long that it is helpful for people who are just now experiencing constipation to be able to go and look and see, oh, okay, no, I haven't tried that yet. Let me try that next. So hopefully that video can help you guys out as well. I'm going to end today with telling you guys that you can head over to my Amazon Live at KetosisMom.live this entire week. I have received some of the best boxes this week from Amazon for their winter wellness campaigns. I have some of the most amazing things each and every day that I am unboxing over on Amazon Live. You can also get to my Amazon storefront by going to amazon.com/shop/KetosisMom. You can check out all of my different idea lists that are there. If you're looking to just shop in general and you want to see what I've been wearing lately, what I've been buying the kids lately, what I've been buying the dogs lately, even what was in these boxes as well. You can also always shop with me over on LTK. I am one of the top 1% creators over on LTK, so hopefully you guys find that useful as well. You can find me over on LTK at Living Large and Lily. I'll also put a QR code up over here for you all. I will be going over the next few weeks. I've decided I am going to try to do videos each and every week moving forward now that I've been off the medicine. I've had my MRIs, I've had my colonoscopies, all of the jazz is out of the way, and so now I can go back to doing my weekly videos. I apologize for kind of being MIA. I've had children completely out of school. One full week was for snow, the next full week was for sickness within the schools, then it was a planned break, and then they also had snow days with that as well. So my children have been at my house every single day basically, and these videos like this basically don't happen without a little gremlin popping up somewhere around me. So I look forward to continuing on with you all. I for sure want to get all the way out to the 72-week mark to do a full comparison of the clinical trial to myself and to keep letting you guys know how it's going. If you guys ever have any comments, questions, or concerns, make sure that you comment them down below. I do look at everybody's comments and I will respond to you as long as YouTube lets me know that the comment is there. And make sure that you like and also hit subscribe because that lets YouTube know that you like my content. So I will see you guys next week, either here or I'll see you guys over on Amazon Live. Bye, everybody.